Yes, the backup quarterback, Beau Pribula, could break out this season, but Andy Kotelnicki's got to find a way to work him into the offense more.
You are Locked On Nittany Lions, your daily podcast on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's get to know Penn State quarterback Beau Pribula a little bit better today, and who better to ask than his former offensive coordinator? And this is Locked On Nittany Lions. I'm your host, Zach Seyko, and thanks so much for making us your first listen and watch every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. That is Shane Breon. He is currently the head coach of Mifflin County High School football, was the offensive coordinator over at Central York, and coached Beau Pribula, who is now the backup quarterback at Penn State. Shane, thanks so much for the time. Excited to get your thoughts on Beau Pribula. Also wrapping up the show, with the outlook for Mifflin County this season. But let's start with what kind of impact Beau can make, the player that he is, and how he would fit into this new look offense. And from what you've seen from afar, Andy Kotelnicki comes in and has, he's used two quarterbacks. He's had a pretty elaborate system and how he got creative at Buffalo and Kansas. So how can Beau Pribula fit into the equation from what you know about Beau and then what you've seen from Andy Kotelnicki's system from afar?
Yeah, I think anybody that knows Beau, knows what he brings to the table. I think you saw some of that when he was able to get his opportunity against Rutgers. I believe it was Rutgers last year when Drew got hurt. And then in the Ole Miss Bowl game, he did some things there to spark the offense a little bit. I think when you watch the Rutgers game in particular, it was a very competitive game. Rutgers is well coached on defense, and we were struggling a little bit. But when he came in, the game opened up. The run game opened up because now you have a real threat of a running quarterback. So it's another person that the defense has to account for. And most of what I saw when I watched it again, was it looked like just a lot of RPO stuff that Beau was doing, and they were calling. And I think Beau, he only threw one pass, I believe, in that game, but he had the opportunity to throw more, but it was RPO stuff, and he read every single one perfectly, and either handed the ball off or ran the ball himself due to a called run play, so to the quarterback off the RPO. So I think that's what Beau brings too. He's a very smart kid. He's gonna make the right reads. He's a student of the game. He takes pride in that. And in all the conversations I've had with him in the offseason here, he loves the new offense. And like you said, coach coming in, different offense coordinator coming in, who has employed two quarterback systems before. I think it's a great opportunity for Beau to help the team. And I think the guys, his work ethic, I think, from afar, like you said, I think those kids are inspired when he's in there, and, they play hard. And, and I think that's just kind of the respect that they have for him, that they want to play hard for him. And that's what we saw in high school too. So
now what are your personal expectations for him? I don't necessarily mean stats, but just at the end of the day, do you believe that he plays more compared to what his redshirt freshman season held? Would Penn State be smart to run a two quarterback system? I'm not saying that's 50% Drew, 50% Beau. But the two quarterback system does implement systems packages where both quarterbacks are on the football field. We saw that with Trace McSorley and Tommy Stevens. Can that benefit Beau here, or do you think he will be strictly a wildcat quarterback and he will only play as the backup unless Drew is hurt?
Yeah, I think my expectations for Beau are just Beau to be Beau. I think that's going to be good enough for him to get on the field more. I hope he plays more. My opinion, I wish he'd had a bigger role against Michigan and Ohio State last year. I think those games might have been a little bit different, but that's my opinion. I'm just a high school coach.
We're all waiting for it.
Yeah. But, I think, the new OC coming in, with his history, and I've sat in some clinic speeches with him, clinic talks, and he's very adamant that his philosophy is to use the weapons that he has to maximize offensive efficiency. So, if that's, throwing the ball 50 times with Drew, that's going to be throwing the ball 50 times with Drew. If it's running the ball, more with Bo, it's going to be running the ball with Bo, or a mixture of both. And, I think one thing I'd like to see is, kind of, get defenses thinking Bo's going to be in the game and running the ball, and then let Bo throw the ball a little bit. Bo's the most accurate high school quarterback I ever saw throwing the ball. It was just incredible to be with him for 2 years. And I think that's the big thing that, I like people to know is he can throw the ball too. He's an all-state high school quarterback, so it's not like he's just a wildcat only kind of kid.
And if you look at his senior season, he had a 71% completion percentage. So and that's what we're going to move into is his skill set as a player. What are Bo's strengths? Again, you were his offensive coordinator. You called plays for him. So how did you maximize those strengths? And I know the high school level is a lot different from the collegiate level, but Bo put up some pretty gaudy numbers in both his junior season, but especially his senior season as a quarterback. What did Bo respond well to when you were coaching him in the plays that you were calling for?
Yep.
And today's show is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you got to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn helps you hire the professionals that you cannot find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn understands that small businesses are wearing tons and tons of hats and might not necessarily have the time to hire. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process easier, quicker, and more intuitive. And 2.5 million, that is right, 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. So be one of them. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That is linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's talk about Bo's strengths a little bit. His strengths are many. Leadership being probably at the top of it. He's the first kid in the weight room, last one out a lot of times, on the field throwing the ball before practice, staying after practice, throwing the receivers. He has a drive to be the best. He's a great teammate in person, and he was a great role model for the program, essentially working all the kids in that area.
Right.
Bo, we came in, and it was the COVID year, the first year there. We did Zooms. Bo picked up the offense really quick. He studied it. He asked questions to Coach Janchuk, about our stuff. And we had, had Zoom meetings. He picked that up when we get on the field. It was just like he was in the offense for years. So he's very smart, like I said, student of the game. And, we would implement some new game plans, some new pass concepts week to week to attack defenses, and he would pick them up. We wouldn't even have to worry about it. We knew he was going to make the right reads, and he understood what we were trying to do. And, one thing about Bo is he always, when you talk about stats, a lot of times he didn't play more than 2 or 3 quarters in some of the football games we played in because we had some really talented kids around him too. So his stats could have even been better in high school than they were. But Bo embraced the challenge. When we played harder teams, he embraced those challenges and he wanted to prove himself. And, I think he did a real good job of doing that.
Now, as his former coach, him just about as well as anybody else. What are his weaknesses? I think, and a question that's been commonly asked among the Penn State media is just who is Beau Pribula as a passer? Because at one point in time, he did only attempt one pass, and he was being strictly used as that dual threat quarterback, only as a second runner to whichever back was in the game next to him, Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen. So in short, what are his weaknesses? Or maybe I can rephrase it and say, where do you think he still needs some development to be kind of more that complete college football quarterback?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a college coach, so, those guys are more up to speed on a lot of that, that stuff. But, as far as weaknesses, I don't think Beau really has many. Some people can say, maybe he doesn't have the deep ball arm strength. I've never seen that. I mean, I think he can throw it far enough.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think you have to throw the ball 70 yards down the field to be
Yeah.
successful. So, but I think with any athlete in a high level sport or a high level athlete in a sport, just perfecting the little things. I'm sure his coaches at Penn State have done a good job of pointing things out that he needs to improve on. And Beau's the kind of kid that's very coachable. And if he gets somebody that gives an opinion on something he can improve on, I guarantee he's going to be working on it on a daily basis to make that right. So, he takes constructive criticism to heart, and he'll work to improve, like I said, and he'll get better.
And how did he improve when you were, so follow-up question to that, what maybe were his weaknesses when he was a younger quarterback? So this was 4, 5, 6 years ago, of course.
Yeah.
Now he's a redshirt sophomore, his third year at the collegiate level. But I guess I'm looking for how he was as a student of the game. How quickly, you've alluded to that he quickly, learned and everything else. But Shane, could you put that into perspective of how quickly he was able to grab a hold of a concept or something that he was struggling with, and then eventually turned it into a strength, or at least made it not a weakness?
Yeah, I think when we first got there, and he worked a lot with Coach Janchuk that first summer. Coaches, the quarterback guru kind of. He works at SVS Sports with Jim Cantafio giving quarterback lessons. So, but a lot of it was his ability to pick up, his reads. I think the offense we brought in was it's an air raid offense. It was read based, and Beau was able to pick that stuff up really quick, and I think it helped him accelerate, his game a little bit. Having that, hey, okay, this is the concept. We're running a stick concept. Here's my read. That's not there. Where am I going? That kind of stuff. I think really helped Beau get to his, he was able to get to his second and third read sometimes. And I think that's the biggest thing I saw him improving was, a new offense, picking it up and going through his reads and making the right choices.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Gametime. You got to download the Gametime app because buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful. The NBA Finals are here. I know all of you are excited. I'm excited. And Gametime makes getting NBA Finals tickets even faster and easier. Yes, to the NBA Finals. And get this, prices on the Gametime app actually go down as it gets closer to tip-off. With last-minute deals, all-in pricing, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee, Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets and so much more. You can get those last-minute deals. You can save up to 60% off buying last-minute tickets, not only for the NBA, but sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. And you can get flash deals. So discounts on top of discounts. Save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or the event. So what are you waiting for? If you're ready to snag those NBA Finals tickets, download the Gametime app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create that account, use promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And another part of this conversation about Beau is that he's kind of sticking this out through and through. I know he's an in-state quarterback. He's from the state of Pennsylvania. He likes Penn State a lot, so this was his dream school all along. But Coach, from what you know and the conversations that you have, how has Beau handled being patient behind Drew Aller, being that second quarterback where Beau is good enough to be a starter at a different school? It might not necessarily be maybe a Big Ten school, but he's a Division I quarterback. I think he could play at another Power First school, especially in an offense that complements him well. So in this day in the transfer portal, what is it about Beau Pribula that has kept him at Penn State to be patient, to wait it out rather than looking elsewhere?
Yeah. I mean, first off, I agree with you. I think Beau could start many other places. But one thing about Beau's a competitor. I know he wants to be the number one guy. But, I also know that Bo's a team guy and a great teammate. And, rest assured, he is pushing Drew in practices,
Good.
lifting workouts, everything to be the best that he can be, while Bo's trying to be the best that he can be. So I think, kind of iron sharpens iron a little bit. I think it's one of those situations, in my opinion. But as far as transfer portal, a lot of people have different opinions on it. But Bo's always been a big Penn State fan, from what I understand from this, from his background, and I think that's helped him accept his current role a little bit. He had offers to go many other places, but he stuck with Penn State, and and Bo's the kind of kid that he's not going to shy away from competition. So I think, a lot of times you see these kids go somewhere and I'm not going to be the starter. And that's their prerogative to say, hey, I'm not going to be a starter here. If they realize they're not going to be that, then they go somewhere else and look and see what's out there and try to be the starter, because everybody wants to play. But Bo's not going to shy away from competition. And, I think almost to a fault maybe, in today's world. But, but that's his character. That's the way he was raised. It's a tribute to his parents, his family. And the culture that he grew up in at Central York, Josh Oswald started that, that kind of that culture there, where you're going to compete and you're going to compete and you're going to compete. And, it's carried over with Jerry Yonchuk there. And, Mike Cesarano is a big influence there too. It's the toughness that is in the kid. And, that comes from, like I said, his family and his former coaches. And, I don't know what the future holds for Bo here, this year or after, but I do know that he's a competitor and he's not going to shy away from any competition, and he's going to try to be the best that he can be while pushing other kids to be the best that they can be.
I imagine that, because I can't foresee Bo transferring out ever. The idea is that, his time will invest and pay off here. Drew eventually goes to the NFL, and then Bo kind of takes over as that multi-year starter to finish up his career, because he has his redshirt sophomore, junior, and senior seasons available to him. If he does in fact use that, maybe he plays his way into an earlier departure for the draft as well, if and when he becomes a starter at Penn State. But there's good competition behind him too, so it's also about pushing Drew, but also keeping other players like Ethan Grunkmeyer and Jackson Smolik at bay, since they are just as talented as the rest of them.
Yeah.
Is the last specific question about Bo? What was that play or that moment where you said, Beau Pribula is a dude? Mm-hmm. This guy is competitive. He has everything you would look for in a quarterback, and he can succeed at the college level. Was there ever that moment at Central York?
I don't know if it was a play. I think it was probably the first practice when we got on the field that COVID year.
Okay.
Just his accuracy throwing the football, his athleticism, moving around in the pocket. They're just off the charts. And, the respect that he garnered from teammates, they respected him. They wanted to protect him. The linemen wanted to protect him. And it was a great team culture there when we got there already. But, he was a big, big part of that culture. And like I said, I've never seen a high school quarterback so accurate throwing the ball, running the ball, throwing on the run, or had the command and respect of his teammates like Bo did. And then our first game, I think we were playing Red Lion. I think we ran a flood route, and the outside receivers are supposed to run and go to clear out. Well, he got a step. I think it was Taylor Wright Rawls. He got a step on a cornerback, and Bo was rolling out and just threw a frozen rope about 40 yards, hit him right in the hands for a touchdown. And that's when I knew we were going to be okay that year.
That is Coach Shane Breon on the other side. He is the former offensive coordinator at Central York, who worked with Beau Pribula for the strong portion of his high school career, talking to us about Pribula's progress and what can we expect from number 9 this upcoming season. And Coach, best of luck this season at Mifflin County High School in your third year.
Thanks, Zach.
Once again, thanks so much for checking out this episode of Locked On Nittany Lions. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section about backup quarterback Beau Pribula and what he can contribute to the Nittany Lions this season. If you enjoyed this conversation, leave a like, share it with friends and family. And if you're not already, become an everydayer. Subscribe to Locked On Nittany Lions on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast for the latest conversations around your favorite Penn State sports teams. And don't forget, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus the national shows covering each and every league. You can find Locked On Sports Today now available on YouTube and the free Fire TV channels app.